One of the things that we'd like to do here at the ACM is obviously educate students in some key skills, and you've touched on those in just what you've told me now. You've alluded to some reading, sight reading scores. You mentioned the sort of jazz background, which involves improvisation, which is another sort of key skill for all musicians, whether it's in the pop world or beyond. What kind of value have you got out of your sight reading skills, or what kind of value would you put to your sight reading skills and also your improvisation skills? How do you use those? Is this something that you could do without? What's your take on those sort of areas?
I think it works differently for every musician. I know a lot of amazing musos that don't read. I know a lot of great musicians that can't improvise, but, you know, technically or chops-wise, they're a million times better than me. So I think it's a very personal thing. For me, those skills come in very, very handy because there's a lot I have done, there's a lot I want to do. I love my arranging, so that's why I need to, you know, I need to be all up on my Sibelius.
Mm-hmm.
I love TV gigs. I adore TV gigs. It's kind of... I think you get to play with some of the best musicians. It's stationary, and you know, it's still high profile. If, for example, one of some of the big American TV gigs. So eventually, I'd like to end up there. So for me personally, I have to be up on my reading skills.
Of course,
there's no other way. I don't use my reading in the pop world. No. Yeah. Because it works very differently. It's with everything is by ear, really. You get the MP3s, you get the stems, and you do your own work. So even though I might notate stuff at home, when it comes to rehearsals, I try and leave all of that behind and have it as internalized as possible. In terms of improvisation, again, for me, I think it's a really important thing. For example, an artist like Jessie, she's very spontaneous. You never know what you're going to get with a Jessie show, and she expects her musicians to be the same and to follow her. So all of a sudden she'll be on stage and she'll just start singing a song that she made up right then and there about a bug that's on the floor, which happened last week in Serbia, you know. And so you have to have ears, be able to pick up the key, be able to follow the changes and just go with it. You can't not. And sometimes she'll just turn around and be like, Hannah, play something. It's like, okay, or set the mood for something spooky, and you just have to go with it. So for me personally, I think it's a really important skill to have, because it just means I'm not scared when it gets to that. I think it's really important, but you know, I'm not just trying to be a keyboard player. I'm trying to not take over the world, but I've got big plans, and
of course.
I really want to not only limit myself to the pop world. I want to be behind the scenes and the productions and the arrangings and strings arranging. I want to conduct orchestras. I mean, there's so much I want to do. Who knows if I will or not, but my ambitions are very high. And for that, I feel I need a certain skill set, and I'm nowhere where I need to be. I've still got a lot of work to do. But for me personally, it's absolutely essential.